Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. First things first, the angle is weird because I'm trying not to show you what I'm wearing. I'm Georgia, I'm a knit and crochet designer, and today I'm going to share with you the behind the scenes of what it takes to knit a jumper from scratch, and trying some new techniques in there as well that I've never done before. The whole purpose of this video was to create something using what I already have. So we're all known for being notorious for it, buying yarn. This all just started off one random day when I was making something and I ran out of yarn, and I was like, I'm not in a position right now to buy more yarn, so I am going to make it my mission to start a project that I can finish with yarn I already have at home. And that's exactly what I did. I made that decision a few weeks ago, so we're going to jump right in. I'm going to rewind back to that moment and show you the whole process of designing this jumper. Don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy it, and make sure to subscribe. Let's go. Okay, so I do have a lot of unfinished projects, but the problem is, it's not that I just don't want to finish them, it's that I run out of yarn. And right now, like, I'm just not in the position to be buying more yarn. I want to start a new project and try and just use the yarn that I have. The reason I'm having a problem with this is because I always like to do a single colour project. For example, this jumper that I'm wearing right now. So obviously you need more yarn in that one colour and like in that one exact yarn to actually make something. I am going to step a little bit out of my comfort zone and do something with multiple colours so that I have enough yarn so that it doesn't get abandoned. These are the colours I've chosen. Now obviously they need to be the same weight, so I am going to have to probably do a swatch, which annoying, but it'll be worth it. I've got this like burnt red / burnt orange kind of colour, and it's like autumnal vibes even though we're going into spring. But I have 3 and a bit of those, so that's quite a lot of yarn. So that will be like the base colour of the jumper, because I'm going to make a jumper. Yeah, if I didn't already specify, I'm going to be making a jumper, and this is going to be like the main colour just because this is the most amount of yarn I've got. And honestly, when I bought this a few years ago, the colour, like when it came, it was really not what I expected, which is why I've got quite a bit of it, and like I've never used it because it's like darker than I thought it was going to be, but hopefully it will make a nice jumper. Then I'm going to use this colour as well. I bought this for my temperature blanket, which has also got abandoned. I will finish it, But I thought like these go really nicely together. And then the third colour is this, which I used to make my hen do dress. This is really, really thin, so I'm going to double strand this. I think that is a really, really cute colour palette. Okay, so I did start the project last night, but I didn't do any filming just because Dan was gaming and it was kind of loud. So I just thought, you know, I'll just do a little bit of knitting and then update you guys today. So it's the next day. This is what I've come up with so far. It's a 5x5 ribbon. So you knit 5, you purl 5 and repeat. And I've done that. I cast on 90. I'm going to keep going with the ribbon and we'll see what happens next. It is quite a few days later. Here is what I've done. I'm really happy with the way it's looking. I was going to undo this cream / white. Would you say that's white or cream? Let's just say white. You see there's no like orangey stripe in there, and I thought maybe it looked weird, but actually I'm not going to go back because I think it looks cute. And then what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do a couple more rows of the white, and then I'm going to work this pattern back like in reverse, so it starts off chunky and like gets smaller, if that makes sense. So it will like finish there, like that row will be up here, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is the front panel, and do you know what, I'm just praying I don't run out of yarn, because the whole point of doing this project was that I always run out of yarn for my other projects. I just really hope I don't run out of yarn. So I'm always doing the pattern, like the stripes, according to how much yarn I have. Like I didn't want to do this many stripes, but then I was like, I'm probably going to run out of the burnt orange colour if I don't do more stripes. But I don't have much of this colour, so it's a whole thing. But yeah, this is my progress, and I'll catch up with you again soon. I apologise for the lighting, but I really wanted to update you guys on the jumper, and my husband is in the other room gaming, so sorry if you can hear that, but I'm just chilling in the bedroom. We don't have any windows in our bedroom, so even though it's daylight, I've got no natural daylight. I have finished the back panel, and honestly, the vision for this has changed so many times. I'll show you what I've done. Here is the back panel. Because I added so much of like the browny orange colour here and then started the stripes, I wanted the stripes to be symmetrical, so you can see it goes like from there to the middle and then it like repeats out again. And so it ended up being really long. So this is what we're working with, and it was supposed to be the front panel, but I ended up making it the back panel because the back panel I wanted it to be slightly longer, so I thought, you know, this could easily be the back panel. And then I did these decreases here for the shoulder, which is a new technique that I'm trying that I've not done before, and hopefully it will lay flat. But yeah, just to see if I can get the shape to just be a bit nicer. So sometimes in the past when I've made jumpers, the back doesn't sit the way I want it to. Sometimes the jumper will kind of like fall forward on my shoulders and then the back sits up higher than the front, which is not a look that I'm going for. So I actually did start a jumper pattern from Petite Knit. I ran out of yarn, but it started like top down, so I managed to get the shoulders done. Sorry about the noise. And oh my god, that's so distracting. He's getting angry at the game and he's getting louder and louder. Basically, if you've heard of German short rows, I tried them for the first time a few weeks ago, and although I haven't finished the jumper, I could see how it would make a really nice shape, and so I've kind of just tried to create that same shape with this, but instead of doing German short rows, because I've worked from the bottom up, I've just done decreases, and it's kind of annoying because like this side isn't sitting flat, it's kind of like a bit bulky here, but it's trial and error, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, not a good thing. We would hang out really late at night, but loving and caring way. Like you don't want to just be like.
Hey guys, it is about a week or maybe a week and a half later. I'm back on the project, so I haven't done much. That is because I'll leave it on the screen. I did a whole tutorial. I took a break from this, filmed a whole nother tutorial. I've posted that now, it's live, and now I'm going back to this. The normal program will resume. If you fancy a cute summer project, then the beach dress tutorial that I just posted, it's a knit one and it's super easy, so cute. Go and check it out. But yep, I'll get back into my jumper knitting. I'll keep you updated on how it's going. Okay, so I didn't have to do this for the back panel, but I'm just shaping the shoulders, so I've bound off some stitches in the middle just to separate it evenly on each side, and then I did some shoulder shaping and bound off, and that's the front panel done. Hey friends, what I'm doing now is I've got my front panel and my back panel, and I'm just going to sew the shoulders together so that I can just see how it fits on the body. So I don't always do this, but because I've done like a different shape for the back panel, so the back panel is actually 10 rows longer than the front panel, and I just need to make sure that when I put it on, it's going to sit how I want it to sit before I go onto the sleeves. So I'm just going to do that now and I'll show you when it's done. So I accidentally filmed this bit while it was still in time-lapse mode, but what happened was I sewed up the shoulders and you can kind of see that the seams weren't lining up properly, so I had to undo it and do it again. Okay, so it worked a lot better this time. I worked from the outside and in towards the neck, whereas the first time round I worked from the neck and went outwards, and that just made a lot more sense to me. Something I've realised, and I knew this at the time anyway, but there's these little holes in this one. That is because I was lazy and I did the wrong kind of decrease on this side. I am going to weave in these ends and just like weave them behind the holes so that it just like covers them up. Also, something that I've realised which would have also solved that problem is that you can see there's like slight puckers here in the fabric. This is on the back side. That is because that is just because of my decreases, and if I'd have worked the panels top down rather than down up, then it would have been a lot smoother. I don't really know why I didn't. I think it's just because I usually do bottom up sweaters, and so it was just like my default thing that I just go to without really thinking. If I was to do it again, I would definitely do top down. So I'm going to try it on now and see how it's looking. Okay, hopefully you can see me there. So I'm just going to slip it over what I've already got on. Where's the back? Okay, cool. I think it's worked. So if you look from the side, the back and the front are the same length, even though the back has 10 extra rows, or I think actually it has 8 extra rows or something. So I think the front panel is about 140 rows from the top of the shoulder, and the back is 148, but like they're sitting pretty level. So I did that on purpose because every time I make jumpers, the back sits higher than the front, and that is just because the way that I usually design my jumpers, like they fall forward slightly, and then that makes so like you can see now the back is sitting up higher than the front. But because I have made it quite high at the back and then added in the extra rows, it's sitting even. So that is a good start. I don't know if it's going to be as oversized as I wanted. To be fair, the edges are rolling in because it's stockinette. I'm actually pretty happy with that, and I'm pretty happy with how the pattern turned out, like the pattern of the stripes, because I honestly thought, I don't know, I was having doubts, and also I thought these panels were actually going to be too long. But actually, like I usually do make my jumpers shorter than this, but I thought it was going to cover my bum. But actually I think it's going to be a really nice length, and you know, like you could like, so normally what I would do is like tuck it in, and like obviously I know it's like hard to tell because I haven't actually finished it yet, but like you can get the idea, and you can still see like the whole pattern of the stripes, because where this is like just solid down below, you can kind of tuck quite a bit in and like it won't affect the stripes. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for sleeves yet, if I'm completely honest. I don't know whether to do crochet sleeves. I don't know whether to do tight sleeves or baggy sleeves. I don't know. I might ask TikTok and see what them guys think. Okay, sorry if you hear Dan in the background at any point, but what I'm doing now is I'm just comparing this to this, because this is just an oversized jumper, and I'm just trying to work out how long I need to make the sleeves. I'm also measuring my gauge, and I've worked out that 4 inches is about 15 stitches. So then if I want the arm circumference to be, say, 12 inches, then 4 times 3 is 12, and so 15 times 3 is 45. That makes sense, because 4 inches gives me 15 stitches. Times that by 3 would give me 45 stitches equals 12 inches. So that's just what I'm doing now, trying to work out how many stitches to cast on for the sleeves. Also, something I want to show you really quickly about the way I made the back longer is you can see that this cast off, or this bind off edge here, is really close to the colour, but this bind off edge there's a bigger gap, you know, between the colour and that bind off edge compared to that colour and that bind off edge. But if I go to the seam where the top of the shoulders are, the gap from there to there before the colour is pretty even. And so that's what I've done on purpose. I've kind of made this slanted so that the back sits up higher than the rest of, like, the middle back sits up higher. So if you was to work this top down, these are called German short rows, but because I did it from bottom up, I just like decreased here and made this slanted edge there, and it's just gonna like allow it to fit better on the body. So you can see there the gap between the seam and the stripe is pretty even, but then the gap between the bind off edge and the bind off edge and the stripe is like completely different from front to back. So I hope that makes sense. I decided to go for an in-between sleeve, so I'm doing just the orange colour, and I'm doing it knit, as you can tell. But I'm not going for a tight sleeve, and I'm not going for an overly baggy sleeve. I was looking on Pinterest and Instagram for some inspiration, and I'm just going to go for like a baggy, like just like a not tight sleeve. I don't know if that makes any sense. Also, I think I'm going to run out of yarn, and the whole point of this project was to not run out of yarn, so I might have to incorporate another colour into it somehow. I'm not really sure, but yeah, don't think I'm going to have enough yarn to do the sleeves all one colour, which is really annoying because that's how I'd prefer it to look, because I've also got to do the neck in this colour as well, so I just feel like the whole point was to use up yarn that I have and not buy more. But also, if I don't like the way it looks, then I won't wear it. So I'm going to see how I go, and I'll keep you updated. I was going to, what's the word? Pick up stitches for the sleeve. So on the body, I was going to pick up stitches and then make the sleeve off of the body so it was attached. But honestly, I just don't want to sit here with like a big jumper on me the whole time. So I'm just making the sleeve separate and then I'll just like sew it on afterwards. I know a lot of people hate seaming, but I honestly don't mind it, and like I'd rather do that than have to like every time I want to pick this up I have like the whole jumper attached to it, because that just kind of like makes me feel a bit stressed. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing it this way. But then what do you think you're doing on my project, girly? Okay, so it's the next day and this is what I've done for my sleeve so far. What I've done here is, because I'm knitting on straight needles, I just knitted half of a row and then folded the work in half so I can just get a better guide as to like how like the depth of the arm is going. But I've realised that this is all the yarn that I have left in this colour, and for me to finish like a whole sleeve and do another sleeve, it's just not going to be enough. So I think I'm going to get my other yarn and do some stripes, see how much I've got. I've got like almost a whole skein of this colour. I'm not sure about the white colour, so I'm going to have a look. But I'm thinking I might do chunky stripes just to like give it some contrast. I'm not really sure. Like, ideally, I didn't really want to add in other colours, but I'm going to have to. Sometimes it's okay. Okay, guys, I have a sleeve. And yesterday I spent so much time knitting that I'm actually gonna have to put a plaster on my finger so when I purl, the top of my finger rubs on the yarn and like the friction is just starting to hurt a little bit. But I know I said I wanted to do a single colour for the sleeve, but quite honestly well, maybe I did have enough yarn, but I started to just look at how much yarn I had in each colour. I didn't want to like do one sleeve and then be halfway through the second sleeve and run out of yarn, because that would just, I want the sleeves to be matching. I had to kind of think to myself like, how can I make the sleeves matching and make sure that I have enough yarn to like finish a second sleeve in the exact same way. I've just started the second sleeve. This is how much yarn I have left. So honestly, like I don't know if I would have had enough to do a full sleeve in this colour, but like I definitely could have done more colour than what I have done. But yeah, it is what it is, and hopefully it looks nice in the end. And then this is how much I've got left of these ones. So like when I was making this sleeve, it seemed like I had a lot of this in comparison to the other colours, which is why I've done that thicker stripe in the middle of the white. And now I'm feeling like I'm probably going to have yarn left over in every colour, but it is what it is. I think it looks kind of cute. This is what it will look like. Also as well, like I did want the cuff to be a bit tighter than what it is, but hopefully it still looks nice when it all comes together at the end. So I'm gonna carry on making the second sleeve, which is probably going to take me probably like a couple of days, I reckon. Hey guys, it is Easter Sunday today, and I usually work on Sunday mornings, but I have got the morning off today. Sorry if you can hear down in the background, story of my life. Anyway, I've not long been awake and we're going out today to see Dan's family. And I really, really wanted to wear this jumper. Like, I set a goal for myself and I just didn't achieve it. So I'm trying to knit as fast as I can, but I still need to seam it up and do the neck. So I know it's not going to happen, but I'm still trying to knit as fast as I can anyway, because miracles have happened. This is the second sleeve, so I'm nearly there. I've done with all the colours. I just need to do like the rusty orangey colour for the cuff, and then it'll be time to seam and go onto the neck. Okay, so the second sleeve is done, and I'm so glad I used different colours because, excuse my messy bed, this is all I have left of this colour and I still need to do the neck. Bit concerned I'm not going to be able to do what I actually want to do with it, but we'll just have to see how it goes. here's the second sleeve. I think it looks really cute. And then this is how much yarn I have left of the others. These have quite a lot left still. So I guess worst case scenario, I could add these colours to the neck. Basically for the neck, I'm going to do it like folded over. So on the side that's folded in, so it will come up and then fold over onto the inside. So the inside could be a different colour because you won't be able to see it. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I didn't actually think of that. So if I run out of the orange, then it might not be an issue. But I'm kind of just thinking out loud. So yeah, but I've actually got to get ready now. So I'm not going to be able to do any more knitting today, but I've kind of made peace with it. So I just need to seam and do the neck. And I'm so excited to finish. I'm definitely going to finish it tomorrow, like without a doubt. So excited. Okay, sorry about the lighting, but I'm in the bedroom. It is the next day and it's time to seam this baby up. It is taking up so much room on my bed, and it is actually wider than what it looks, but it's curled under just where I've used stockinette stitch. But obviously once it's all sewn together, that will be fine. So for the sleeves, it's actually really helpful to have the stripes because it just enables me to line everything up really easily. So I've got the edge of the sleeve lined up with, you know, the colour change here and the same colour change there. And then what I'm going to do is just use the yarn to sew this gap closed, and then I'll do the exact same on the other side with the other sleeve. Also, just want to point out that before I start sewing, I'm actually going to turn everything so that it's upside down and sew from this side so that the seam will be on the inside, and then when I turn it over to wear it, the seam will be less visible. Okay, so I just tried, like I just slipped it over my head just to see, you know, kind of what to expect. I did the sleeve here on the colour change, but as I've gone along, I've got to this colour change on the other side and I still have about 2 inches of sleeve left, and if I was to attach that there once I seam up the rest of the jumper, it's going to be wonky. So I need to undo the whole thing, move it just an inch more, which I nearly did, but I was like, no, like I counted the stitches out and everything, and I was like, no, this will work, and I should listen to my gut. But anyway, so I'm going to undo this, do it again, and then do the same on the other side. That literally took forever. I try not to rush seaming because I always find like there's no point in spending so much time on a whole project and then rushing the seaming, because the seaming, if you do a good job, it can be like the difference between a really professional look and a really non-professional look. Where I've got the stripes here, it's making the seaming look kind of like messy. And so normally if I had done it all in one colour and then I use that colour yarn to do the seaming, like it all blends in. But obviously I've got 3 different colours on here, but I'm only using one colour to do the seaming. And so when it goes over the other colours, you can kind of see where I've sewn it together, and I don't really like that. So there you can just kind of see like it's not the neatest in the world. And this side, like, it's just not looking that great, and honestly at the moment I do not have very high hopes for how this is going to look. But now what I'm going to do is turn it so that it's still got the wrong side facing out, and I'm going to sew from the wrist up and then down the side all in one go. And I left a long tail on the wrist, so I will do that for as long as I can until I run out, and then add an extra piece of yarn, and then I'll do the same on the other side, and then all that will be left to do is the neck. In case you're wondering where I've got the colour changes, I carried the yarn each time. So like when I changed colour, I didn't cut the yarn. I just like carried it to the next time I used that colour. So like this is the sleeve as well, and you can just see that's where I finished doing the stripes, and then I carried it through each time, and that was where I started the stripes. Yeah, that's something if you didn't know, like when you're doing stripes, to minimize the amount of end you have to weave in at the end, you can just like carry the yarn through each time. This seam is looking slightly better than the other one I showed you. It's a little bit, you can see a little bit of the orangey colour under the armpit, but not too worried about that. And then the sleeve, I'm pretty happy with how that looks, to be fair. I think it looks quite neat, especially like you have to try and line it up very well because of the stripes. I mean, it's not 1000% lined up correctly, but it's like consistent throughout. So I just need to do the other side. I'm going to quickly try it on, but yeah, I'm going to do the other side now. Basically what you can see me doing here is taking my 5mm circular needles out of one project so that I can use them for the neck in this current project, and I just put a bit of yarn in where the stitches were being held by the needles so that the whole project, you know, doesn't fall apart. This is what we've got to work with, so I'm going to get my circular needles and work around the neck in 5x5 ribbing to match the cuffs of the sleeves and of the body. Okay, again, sorry about the lighting. I just picked up stitches for the neck, and I just wanted to show you, if you have a cable like circular needles that are too long, you can always just pull some of the cable out. What I mean is, like, I'll knit these few stitches and then I'll probably put that cable back in and then pull it out over here. So, you know, sometimes if your cable is too long, you can still use it because this is the only 5mm circular needles that I have. So yeah, I've just like pulled it out there just to like allow me to knit here. Hope that makes sense. Okay guys, so this is what the neck is kind of looking like, and this is all the yarn I have left in this colour. So I'm going to quickly try it on, but I don't want to show you because I want to show you like the final reveal. Yeah, I'm going to try it on and potentially bind off if I'm happy. Okay, so slight problem. I absolutely hate the neck, and this is all the yarn I have left in this colour. So for the neck, I didn't pick up too many stitches. Like on the front, I picked up every other stitch because I just didn't want it to be, so like you can see on the back, it's kind of like, it looks like there's too many stitches there, and I picked up every stitch on the back and every other stitch on the front, and I just really don't like it. I'm wondering if I bind off if it will sit differently, because obviously I've got the needles hanging out the back, which is weighing that down, and if I bind off tightly then it will kind of bring it, you know. And also you can add elastic into the top if you want to like make it sit tighter. So it's like, do I risk it and bind off and then potentially have to undo it all? Or do I just undo it all? I think I might actually bind off and see what it looks like, because I've got this far. I may as well do one more round, bind it off, and if it doesn't work, I'll just undo it and try again. The other thing I'm not sure on is like this rib and the ribbing here is 5x5. So I did 5x5 around the neck, but I just feel like it doesn't look right. But then I don't know what other kind of rib to do because I wanted it to match. And then the other thing as well is like around the neck, it's looking like very stretched out, but in reality, like it does bunch up. So I'm hoping that maybe it will bunch up once I've bound off. I'm not really sure. So I think I'll try it and we'll see. I may have bound off a little too tightly. I can't get it over my head. Right, so this time I've done it again and I've done a stretchy bind off. So all I did was just undid like the bind off row and done it again. Now the reason I don't like a stretchy bind off is because it looks rubbish in my opinion. Why does that look so weird? It just doesn't look neat, but obviously if I can't get it over my head it's pointless. So I'm gonna try it on, but honestly I'm not holding out much hope. I can't lie. And I literally have hardly any yarn left. So what I wanted to do was like make this double the height and then fold it over and sew it onto the inside. So it was like a double neckline, if that makes sense. Okay, it went over my head. I don't really know what I'm doing with the double neckline thing. Like, I've never done it before, and I feel like I'd have to follow someone else's pattern first. Right, first things first, I don't like it. Hang on a sec. I can't lie, this video is getting so friggin' long. If you're still here, then you are a trooper. I'm starting to lose patience now because, like, I'm so happy with the whole jumper, but what is that neck? Like, it looks so bad. I don't really know how I can make it work. It just ruins the whole thing. Like, I cannot leave it like that because I will never wear this. This is probably like the worst neckline I've ever done. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I'm trying again, and I'm just going to say I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Right, it's a few hours later. This time I dropped down to 4mm needles. I used double pointed needles for the first time, and I have a feeling it's not going to go over my head. Oh, it went over. Hang on. Okay, it's better. Do I love it? No. Is it the best neck I've ever done? Definitely not. But is it 100 times better than it was before? Yes. The whole jumper does need blocking. If you know me, you know I absolutely hate blocking and will avoid it at all costs. But I think I'm going to have to with this one because it is just like, it just needs it. I think I'll end up leaving the neck like this, honestly, because one, I didn't want like a turtleneck because I always like make turtlenecks, and that wasn't the goal for this jumper. I don't like how wide it sits here though, but I don't know how I can avoid that without changing like the whole structure of the jumper. So maybe if I made it again, I would take that into consideration. I think the neckline is just too wide. So if I make it again, then I'll take that into consideration. I also did like a normal bind off because I just think it looks way neater. But obviously, like, it doesn't have any stretch in it. But then also it won't stretch out of place, which is good. I probably would wear it with jeans, but it doesn't not go with these leggings. I'm trying to like tuck it in at the front. Also, another reason why I'm going to leave the neck like this is because I literally have like no yarn left. Here's the back, so the back could be, sometimes I do fold them over. Whenever I make anything, like if any of you have followed me for a while, you'll know that every time I make something, I don't like it at first, and then I like keep looking at it and keep looking at it, and I wear it and I look at it in the mirror, and then it grows on me and it grows on me, and then I end up liking it. So we'll see how it turns out, I guess. I will leave in a little clip of it with all the ends weaved in. Thank you for watching this video. I guess I'm going to end it here. I really appreciate you watching this all the way through. It means so much to me. I do hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and maybe even subscribe to my channel for more videos from me. But whatever time you're listening to this video, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.